Albert Einstein once said, "Only two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity." And I'm not sure about the former. You're quite right, Albert, because we're going to have a look at someone who is stupider than the infinite universe. I received an email from a subscriber called Phil. Thanks, Phil. He said to me, "You've got to see this guy, he's amazing." And Phil is right. This guy is amazingly stupid. He's called Anti-Globe. A whole bunch of people who aren't stupid and are in fact really, really sensible are my amazing patrons. With massive thanks to all my patrons, including new patrons Andy Woods, Glenn Chapman, Dark Saber, Chris Holmes, Crafty Keeler, Nell Pinion, William Schofield, Nicola Redmond, AZ Atheist, Grumpy Old Man and Hugh Jars, and my latest patrons Larry XK and Newhart Escalina. Thank you all so very much. So Anti-Globe today is going to expose orbits. He's going to show us why orbits aren't real. Well, I think Anti-Globe, you need to just get on with it, so roll VT.
Object speeds by a planet with a lot of momentum. Gravity attracts the object to the planet and vice versa. Object continues to try to move forward but is pulled down by gravity. The result is a balance of forces pushing the object out and pulling it in, making a circular orbit.
Oh, nice one, Anti-G. A very basic explanation of orbits. Excellent.
Object continues to try to move forward but is pulled down by gravity.
Yeah, we got conservation of momentum in there then. It continues to try and move forward.
That's the best explanation they could come up with for how an orbit is taking place.
It is the explanation for orbits.
Mind you, this is without any interaction. This is like all frictionless. You know, there's nothing coming from the center of these objects outward to these other objects. There's no physical interaction happening.
Yeah, pretty much frictionless. It's in space. And the interaction between them, that would be gravity. There's not some big long rope holding onto satellites.
And all this motion is taking place. But let's ignore that and just focus on an object that is trying to move forward but is pulled down by gravity.
Okay.
Now, how is it doing both?
Well, I think this is time for a high IQ experiment.
That's all I want to know. How is the object trying to move forward but being pulled down by gravity simultaneously?
Well, let's have a look and see.
I've asked this numerous times. I made numerous videos about this in the past and really got nowhere.
Gravity experiment number 1 for Anti-Globe and other kindergarten students. Our gorgeous and sensible volunteer is going to gently throw a tennis ball forward. It is moving forward and gravity at the same time will pull it down. Let's see that again in slow motion. Forward momentum and gravitational pull. Gravity experiment number 2 for Anti-Globe and other kindergarten students. This time our wonderful volunteer is going to impart greater force on the tennis ball, so its momentum will continue further before gravitational pull overcomes it. And again, Anti-Globe in slow motion, and you'll be able to witness that the arc is not pronounced. The ball travels further before it falls to the earth. So perhaps now, my incredulous little flat earther, you can see that the greater the speed, the flatter that curve.
I've even made a video here recently, trying to explain that there is no balance to be had out there. There's no way it can happen, because once an object starts to fall toward the earth, it's not going to try to move away from it.
No, of course not. Nothing is going to try and move further away. Don't forget conservation of momentum. Objects in motion will continue until they're acted upon by another force. The moon is moving through space. It would continue in a straight line, but it's acted on by a force, that force being gravity, which is bending its path. It's not getting closer to the Earth. In fact, it's slowly getting further away.
It's going to continue to fall toward the Earth, as do all objects that fall toward the Earth. Once they start falling, they're not going to miss it. They're going to hit it.
Gravity experiment number 3 for anti-globe and other kindergarten dropouts. If an object is launched with enough speed, it can achieve orbital velocity. It's still going to curve down towards the Earth, but the surface of the Earth is dropping away as fast as the object is dropping. So it never gets closer. It continues to circle the Earth. Bloody idiot. If an object's moving past the Earth slowly, it will get pulled in by the gravitational force. If the object's moving too quickly, its path will be bent, but it will continue on. If an object is going at just the right speed, the curve that's put on its path will just match the curve of the Earth. It will continue to miss it. If you roll a ball along a flat floor, it will roll in a straight line. In this example, what we've got is a planet in the middle, and we've got a curved surface down to it. This would be the curvature of space-time, gravity. Now, if the ball was going really fast, it would fly off. If it's going very slow, it will drop down the middle to the planet. If it goes just the right speed, it will continue to orbit around it. Now, in this case, there's friction between the surfaces, so it will always slow and always drop to the middle. But it demonstrates how this works.
It's going to be, what is it called? An inelastic collision? Where it loses all of its kinetic energy? Yeah, that's going to happen. As do all objects that you move. They all eventually stop moving.
Well, I haven't seen us stop moving around the sun, or the moon stop moving around us.
You can say they keep their momentum. Who cares? I don't care. Try to sound intelligent all you want. None of this makes sense.
So you don't care about conservation of momentum, but you want to debunk orbits. It doesn't make sense to you, but you want to put up YouTube videos explaining why it's wrong. That is the very definition of Dunning Kruger.
And you could say, oh, that's argument from incredulity. No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. Because you're arguing against it because it doesn't make sense to you.
It literally makes no sense. You don't understand it. You literally don't know how this works. You just go, well, that's how we think it works.
So straight after saying it doesn't make sense to you, you claim that everybody else doesn't understand it. And we're not claiming that we think that's how it works. We know that's how it works. If not a single satellite would be able to stay up in orbit.
What do you not get, man? It has a lot of speed and it's accelerating toward the Earth. It continues to try to move forward, but it's pulled down by gravity. How hard is that to understand?
Well, apparently for you, it's very hard to understand.
You're like, oh, well, that's the observed phenomena, man. That's what we observe. Bullshit. Bullshit. Just let me make this claim. Red alert. Red alert. Red alert. Red alert. There's no orbit without friction.
What you talking about, Willis?
There's no orbit without friction. And you can't tell me that there's orbits happening without friction, which is what you want me to believe.
I can tell you that, and that is absolutely not what we want you to believe. When you get friction, the orbit decays, then your satellite will crash to Earth.
You want me to believe that an object is falling toward the Earth constantly and moving away from it at the same time?
No. If it's moving away, that's escape velocity, and it will fly off into the depths of space. If it's moving towards the Earth, it will eventually hit it. What we actually have is a balance between the amount of curvature put on the object's path by the gravitational field and the curvature of the surface of the Earth, so that the object keeps missing and going round and round it in an ellipse. That is an orbit.
And you can say, like, look, in this little drawing, oh, if it has too much, it's just going to continue moving through space. And if gravity's greater, then the object's going to collide.
Yep, if only you could understand it. Now you may remember from a couple minutes ago, Anti-Globe said this.
There's no orbit without friction.
And you might think, I let it slide. Well, oh no. He's done another video to explain this. It's a very short one. Have a look and a laugh.
As a car makes a turn, the force of friction acting upon the turn wheels of the car provides centripetal force required for circular motion. As the centripetal force acts upon an object moving in a circle at constant speed, the force always acts inward as the velocity of the object is directed tangent to the circle.
Yep, he really is going to compare orbits with a car making a sharp turn.
Now before sliding starts, to oppose the outward relative motion, static friction comes to play. It opposes the motion by acting in opposite direction, i.e. radially inward to the turn.
Yes, with a car turning you need friction between the tyres and the road, which is why if you're going too fast, or if the surface is low friction like ice, you'll slide out.
So you need centrifugal force and friction to create centripetal acceleration. Because you can't turn and generate the force outward without it. You just keep sliding forever.
There basically is no friction in space. Objects that are moving will continue to move in a straight line, following the laws of conservation and momentum. That is, they'll continue moving until acted on by another force. That force is gravity. It will bend the path. It doesn't require friction. They're being pulled off of the straight into a curve. I'm going to finish with another quote by Albert Einstein, which I think is probably relevant to you. A man should look for what is, not for what he thinks should be. Until next time, stay sensible.
Shut up and sit down.